again, I am still so tired. So, yeah. So, I was gonna make this video. I'm tired, so I probably won't put, like, a lot of emphasis, and I won't have a lot of, like, passion, so to speak, behind it, just for the fact of I'm just so tired. So, Caleb, stop that. Caleb?
Huh? What?
No.
Wait, I want to show
No.
the jello.
Not right now.
Ah! Come on.
Caleb. Not right now. So, yeah. I'm still kind of, like, I'm very mad. Very upset. I'm not really gonna say it right now because of just how tired I am. Like, I feel like I'm, like, just about to, like, just fall asleep. So, anyhow, a couple days ago, let's see, what's today? So, Tuesday, I believe. I got off from work, went to go get Alana. My camera is acting funny. Or it's looking funny, should I say. Okay. So, anyhow, went to go pick up Alana. And, of course, it's kind of unusual for them not to be outside. Normally, they're outside waiting for me. But I was like, okay, well, maybe they didn't realize, exactly what time it is. Maybe they're out back, yada, 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 right? So I walk in the door. Back door is wide open. So I'm like, oh, they're out back. And as I went to close the door to walk towards the back, I hear Alana screaming. So, when you first walk into my mom's house, there's, like, instantly, like, there's, like, a door. Like, right there. Like, this is her front door. Y'all can see. This is her front door. That's the door to their bedroom. And so, like, you have to, like, shut the front door to be able to get into their bedroom. Because the front door, it blocks it off. Well, so I hear that they're in, my mom's room, bathroom, closet, somewhere over there. So I go. And I see my mom and Alana in the bathroom. And Alana's sitting up on the counter. And, of course, she's crying. And I hear my mom being like, it's okay, I'm so sorry, it's okay, we'll fix it up. And I'm like, oh, okay, something happened. Most likely she probably was running on the concrete, she fell, scraped her knees. So I kind of scoot in behind my mom, and of course Alana sees me and she freaks out. And I'm like, whoa, okay, something definitely happened, because normally Alana doesn't freak out like this. She is shaking, and she is like, doesn't want Mimi to touch her, don't want to have nothing to do with Mimi. Like, she just, Mommy. And so that's when I kind of, like, really, like, look at her. She's got a hole in her shirt. Her jeans are filthy. They have got, like, mud and stuff all over them. She's got, like, I'm guessing, like, dirt or stuff, like, all over her face. Her face is blood red. Her hair is, like, wet, and I mean, most likely from tears. And I'm like, okay, something really bad happened here. And I'm, like, looking at my mom, and I'm like, okay, heifer, what happened to my child? Now, of course, I didn't say that, but that is kind of what went through my head. Now, sometimes I do call my mom a heifer. I've done that ever since I was a kid. It's just been like very playful. I will never call my mom that in like a disrespectful way. Um, I'm not gonna disrespect her like that. But in my head, I'm sitting here going, okay, what the heck happened to my child? And do I need to kill you? Just, I wouldn't do that either. But, I mean, your kid is sitting here screaming. You're going to go to like the adult and be like, okay, what happened? Do I need to hurt you? Because apparently my child's hurt. Do I need to hurt you for retribution for my child being hurt? And, so my mom explained to me what happened. Now, y'all have seen the videos. Y'all have heard me talk about it. My mom and stepdad have chickens. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. I like me some chicken nuggets, but I hate chickens. I don't do chickens. I do chicken nuggets and chicken strips, but I don't do chickens. I don't like chickens. And I mean, when my mom and like stepdad go out of town, yeah, I will go over there and I'll feed them. I'll take care of them. I don't want to because I don't like them. I don't want to be near them, but I will do it because there's no one else to do it, and that's just the nice thing to do. They help me, I help them, yada yada yada. I mean, that's what family does. But anywho, rambling. So anyhow, some of their roosters that they had, they had to either get rid of or they had to off them. For the fact of that they were actually being aggressive towards each other. They would be like more aggressive towards like the hens. And of course they actually wanted like maybe one rooster with, like 10 chickens, like just one. But when they bought them like as baby chickies, they didn't realize that they actually got majority of them were roosters, it seems like. So they've had to get rid of a lot of them because they didn't want a bunch of roosters. They just wanted one, if that. Well, anyhow, they ended up having to get rid of all of their roosters because they got rid of some and then the ones that they ended up keeping, I think, were getting a little bit aggressive. So of course they had to take care of them. And so they ended up buying one from another chicken person, I think it's somebody that goes.
My dad was dead.
So anyhow, they ended up purchasing another rooster from some type of I think they go to church with him, but they've got family too. Like they've got small kids, I believe. And he was already up a little bit older. Like he wasn't a baby, I don't think so. But he's never really done anything. Elena's petted him and not really held him because she likes holding them to when they're little bitty, but when they get up older and start getting bigger, she doesn't want to hold them. She'll maybe pet them if she can, but for the most part, she just wants to sit there and watch them. Anyhow, the last couple of days, Alana had been begging my mom to go outside and help her with the chickens. And so my mom was like, well, okay, well, I've been hearing some stuff out there, so it kind of sounds like maybe some of them had laid some more eggs. Your mama's almost here. We'll just run out there, see if they've got some eggs, and we'll just come right inside. Well, I've asked my mom not to let them really like go inside because it's just so dirty, like inside the cage, the poop and the mud, all of that. And so I don't want them to get it on their shoes and then they track it all through her house. They track it all in my house. They track it in the truck and, it's just going to get everywhere. And I really don't want chicken poop over everything. And so she kind of let her, stand there. She had her back turned because she was looking in the little nesting box to see, if there was any eggs. And so, anyhow, all of a sudden, Alana started screaming. So, of course, my mom turns around and she sees this rooster is on top of Alana. Apparently, he's not been aggressive towards anyone, ever. And Alana, for the most part, leaves them alone. Like, if they're free roaming, she just kind of stand there. She doesn't really mess with them. She kind of just leaves them alone. She'll sit there and watch them, but it's not like she tries to chase them or like she's like trying to be like hateful toward them or trying to like make a game out of it. But anyhow, apparently I don't know if maybe there was some type of fly or something around Alana and she was like swatting at it. Or maybe Alana took a step. Don't know what happened. Nobody knows because my mom's back was turned, of course. But at some point in time, this rooster must have felt threatened by Alana because he ended up pushing her down to the ground and started pecking at her and clawing at her. To say that I was furious is an understatement. Me and Alana both were like we're still like pretty mad. My mom is upset, of course, because she can't believe that happened. And I know she kind of blames herself because she's like, I was the one that let her go outside. I was the one that kind of turned my back for a couple of seconds just to look in the box. And, it went from her standing there just watching the chickens peck at the ground to being, pecked to death. And, y'all, she has got scratches everywhere. Everywhere. She's got, like, 2 or 3 scratches on, like, the lower part of her back. She's got a couple of scratches right at the top of her thigh. Kind of like right where like the bottom of your buhini meets your thigh, like where all of that connects. She's got like 3 or 4 scratches like right there. And she's got one on her chest. She's got like a scratch like right here on her arm. She's got a really bad scratch like right through here. It goes almost all the way around her arm. And right about like right here, I'm trying to have it to where y'all can actually see because, this is the bend of my... She's got a little... right here. And I mean a hole. A hole. It's not very big. But there is a hole in her arm. Now, we're not sure if that is from, like, one of his talons or if that was maybe from, like, his beak. We're not sure. Considering that where the hole in the scratch is, I would guess that he was like trying to like grab her arm. His nail, like one of his talons went into her and the other one just kind of scraped around. That would just kind of be my guess. I mean, he could have like pecked her and went to do it again and he just kind of ended up going around. So, but I'm guessing, I'm going to venture a guess and say that it was probably his talons. Which either way, shouldn't have never happened. I do understand that, I mean, accidents, they happen. I mean, that very well could have easily happened while I was there. So I mean, accidents happen. I'm not mad at my mom. Well, I guess in a way, I mean, I am a little bit, but like I am, but like I'm not, because like I know she didn't do it on purpose. And I mean, she had no way of knowing that this rooster was going to end up doing something like that. He's been so nice and gentle the whole entire time they've had him, and they've had him for a while now. And so like he's never given any type of anything of being violent or aggressive. And so like she had no way of knowing that her just turning her back for like 3 seconds, this was going to happen. So like I'm not really mad. I was a little bit more mad at her, and I was more on like a rampage of, oh my God, I can't believe my mom allowed my child to get hurt. And I had, when we got home, of course, I had to take all the Band-Aids off and clean them properly, and I gave her a bath and cleaned them some more, made sure to try to get all of that dirt and possibly poop and everything that was on the claws, that, just trying to just get everything clean. Well, while I was doing that, I started talking with my dad, and, I was like, I've got to talk. I was like, because, I've been kind of talking to Alana. I was like, but it seems like the more I'm talking to Alana, the madder I'm getting. And I was like, I can't be mad at my mom for this, because, like, I know you're not supposed to leave your child, or, don't leave kids unattended. But, I mean, and I know that accidents can happen at a drop of a hat. So, like, I'm mad at her, but I feel bad about being mad at her. And then, of course, my dad talked me down off the ledge. Metaphorically, ledge. He was like, look, he's like, if it would have been me, he's like, I probably would have snapped his neck. He's like, but that's just me. He says, your mama may not have really, it kind of sounds like more of like your mom was just in shock. He's like, honestly, it sounds like maybe tomorrow she's probably going to be a little bit more livid. He's like, and the thing is he says, and I was like, well, I don't know what she's going to do with the rooster. Don't know if they're going to keep it. I don't know if they're going to, what they're going to do with it. Like, what if they try keeping it? I don't want, like, I'm almost to the point of, if they keep the rooster, they're never going back over there, And he says, no, you can't do that. You can't think that way. And I was like, I know, I wouldn't do that. Like, if they had decided to keep it, it would be one of those things to where, okay, if you're going to keep it, and for the fact that this has happened before, okay, let us not go anywhere near the chickens. Let's stay on the porch with the gate closed to where chickens can't get you, you can't get to the chickens, like that type of thing. And he said, yeah, he says that would probably be the best option. He says, but here's the thing. And here's this. My dad and my stepdad have known each other for years. Actually, they've known each other longer than I've known my stepdad. Because they kind of went to church together like many years ago. So like my stepdad and my dad know each other. And so he's like, look, I know him. He's like, I know your mama, and I know stepdad. There is no way that they're going to just sweep this under the rug. They're not going to, like, he's like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to let this stand. And I was like, but what if he does? He's like, don't even think about the what ifs. He's not going to let this stand. He says he loves those kids just as much as I do. He loves them just as much as, you and Alana and your mom. Like, he loves them like their family. Just because he's step-grandfather doesn't mean that he loves them any less or any differently than he does his own biological grandkids. And so So he was like, I wouldn't worry about it. He says, I would just, he says, it's done. It's over with. There's literally nothing you can do about it. He says, it's done. It's all over with. You're cleaning her wounds. You're giving her a bath. He says, give her some medicine for pain. He said, because most likely she's probably going to be in pain, and she's kind of freaked out. He said, so be aware that she might not sleep very well tonight. He says, be very attentive to this. He says, because this could potentially end up getting worse, because of, what if they get, what if, especially this one right here gets like infected. And so he's like, you've got to be really careful. He's like, but you already know that, you know how to take care of it. He says, if you need me, I'm here. He says, you and Alana. He said, just calm down. And so, and the reason why he was like, calm down, because like, Alana was like so mad the fact that it happened, to where he's like, I'm so mad to where like, let's just, like, I just want to cut off like all communication with him. Like, this is like absolutely ridiculous. And so I was like, I'm not gonna cut off communication. He's like, I know that. He says, it's just, that's what I want to say. He says, because I'm so mad, I'm so angry. And I was like, I understand that. Everyone, we're all human. We all tend to say things when we're angry that we don't really mean. And so he says, yeah, he says, but he's like, right now, it's really hard for me to think like straight. It's hard for me to think like logically. He said, so what we need to do is anytime they go over to their mom or over there to your mom's, they are not allowed in the backyard. He says, if the chickens are up and around, he says, the kids either stay in the house or, like they stay in the house. And I was like, well, yeah. I said, but, they're going to want to go outside. They're going to want to at least watch. No, they can't go outside. I was like, well, that their back porch has, my stepdad built like a little gate for their steps. And so I was like, they can't really get in. I said, as long as that gate stays closed. And he's like, well, I guess that would be fine. And then he's like, but I'm telling you, if I find out that they're in that yard with them darn chickens, he says, no contact whatsoever. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I get it. And I do get it. Again, I'm not just going to cut off communications with my mom over this incident, and I have a good enough relationship with my mom to where I can kind of tell her, things, and I can be like, look, I've kind of said this before, but I kind of was trying to say it kind of like jokingly because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I didn't want to come off disrespectful, but something's going to have to change here. And that's actually what I told her like yesterday. And I told her, I said, Alana was kind of like, I said he was teasing, but not teasing on, like the new rules about the kids and the chickens. I said, because he's like, no contact. I said, you will not be able to watch them. I said, look, I said, when it comes to you, he lets me make that decision because that's my family. He has an input and I can listen to him, but ultimately he is going to let me make that decision. If he was to ever make a decision like that, then that means, Lord forgive me for my language, but all hell is about to break loose. Just saying. And that would be the same like with his family. And so when it comes to families or in-laws or whatever, like he kind of like lets me make those decisions. If he actually steps in and has to put his foot down and make a decision about something like that, then it's real bad. It's real bad. It's one of those things to where I'm going to be grabbing a stuffed animal and a blanket, and I'm going to be curled up in the corner terrified. But I was telling my mom, I was like, look, we were talking, and we don't really want the kids around the chickens anymore. If they're going to go outside and they're free roaming, they have to stay on the porch. The gate has to be closed. Do not let them anywhere near it. And I was like, look, I was like, and I was like, I said, and Alana's at that point. I said, he is so mad, so furious, so aggravated at the fact that this happened, to where if we find out that they're getting out in the yard with the chickens, I said, Alana will end up making that decision. I said, I love you, but you also know that I'm going to stand behind him. I said, because this is the kid's safety. And of course, my mom, I think, did get a little bit hurt by me saying that. She doesn't like it when that stuff like that's ever brought up. She hates being threatened with not having any kind of contact with grandkids. And so, but at the same time, she also knows that my other sister, one of my sisters, she would just do it just for the heck out of it. She would get mad over the stupidest little thing and then threaten, oh, you're not going to be able to come out, you have a relationship with your grandkids. And she would do it just out of spite. And that's one reason why my mom really hates that, because my sister put her through that a lot when my nieces and nephews were younger. And I've never really been one to say that. And I've told her, I'm not going to cut contact with you. I'm not going to threaten you with that unless it is something major. I said, hell's going to have to practically freeze over before something like that would happen. But and I know this is something that is serious. This isn't like just me asking her, don't let the kids run in your house, and she turns around and kind of lets them skip around and kind of run around in her house a little bit. Okay, yes, that is a rule, but if she, that's totally different than not allowing my children around chickens. That is completely, in my mind, something completely different. But she did end up telling me that when she was talking to my stepdad, he said, well, because my mom, according to my mom, the longer she sat there after we left, she says, the madder I got. And apparently she ended up texting him and saying, he's gone. He is gone. I'm gonna kill him. He gone. He dead. Gone. And of course my stepdad was like, what did you do? And she was like, he attacked Alana. What do you mean he attacked Alana? She said, what part of he attacked did you not understand? Now, of course, sometimes things kind of go shoop over my stepdad. And sometimes my mom might use the word attacked, and that's not entirely what she means. And he's like, okay, babe, but that's not really attacking. That's just, And so he was like wanting more details. And so, of course, she told him. And while I was giving her a bath and cleaning her, I had taken a video of everything. Because she wanted to have it to where she could actually show him how bad it was. It's not one of those things to where we're saying that this is really, really bad, and it's just like one or two teeny tiny little scratches. She wanted to be able to say, look how bad this is. You know, he was this close to her eyes. He could have scratched out her eyes or pecked out her eyes. Like, this could have been very bad. You know, we could have lost a grandchild here. This is how bad this is. I'm not exaggerating this time. I'm being serious. And so, so I sent her the video, and he was like, well, okay, you're right. He's gone. He's like, we're just going to have to pack him up and take him to the auction. Now, my thought on that is the fact of, don't take him to an auction, because for the fact of, what if the next person that buys him has kids that's even smaller or younger? You know, like, that could potentially, you know, be pretty bad. But at the same time, he may not really be an aggressive, like it could have just been the fact of, there may have been like a bug or something that was flying around Alana, and she was like trying to like swat at it, or trying to, I mean, anything could have happened. To the slightest little thing could have made him feel threatened. And so he may not really be aggressive. He may have just been like protecting his little flock, you know. But bottom line is that he did attack her. She is doing better as far as we can tell. Nothing is getting infected. Mostly everything is just scratches. The one on her arm right here, that one we're still keeping an eye on. Just to make sure that she's not getting any type of infection. And we're keeping an eye on her temperature as well, because, of course, getting a high temperature is kind of one of the first signs of getting some type of infection. So we're checking her temperature a couple of times a day just to be on the safe side. And, of course, she is up to date on all of her shots, so she should be fine. She might have a little bit of a scar right there. Hopefully not, but that might be about it. So yeah. So yeah. Baby girl has gotten attacked by a dog, and now a rooster. Which, granted, Caleb has been attacked by a rooster, but he didn't actually, like, the rooster didn't actually physically touch him. He just kind of chased after him, tried to pick at him. But we actually haven't had that problem in a while. Actually, I'm not even sure if they even have those anymore. I don't hear any kind of crowing or clucking or anything. So honestly, they may have even gotten rid of those. And just for those of you that don't know, that is people that live back behind us. The park beside us, they had a chicken and a rooster, and they let them free roam, and they would come over here, and he actually got to where he was chasing us when we were trying to come in and out of the house. And yeah, he kind of sort of went after Caleb. I don't know exactly which video that is, but you'll have to go back and try to find it if you want to. It's a little bit funny, but not funny. Like, I think back now and I'm like, oh, poor baby. Like, it's a little bit funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. But he actually didn't physically get hurt. He just got chased. So, a little bit different. But just also the predicament that Caleb was in when this rooster decided he wanted to. Richard decided he wanted to try to chase him. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. But, so, anywho, that is what has been going on, or what happened Tuesday. I didn't get to make a evening vlog in the truck because, again, having to deal with that put me kind of late getting to Caleb, so I wasn't able to do that. So yeah. Anywho, with that being said, we are off, and we'll see you guys next time.